Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
All right, now, thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Tate, and today, boy, do we have a show for you. We're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. Magic Johnson stopped by the ESPN studios and had a little chat on First Take, and he did not hold back. He bared everything. We're going to talk about the Warriors and the Trailblazers, in which the Warriors over the weekend just went up 3-0. We're going to touch on that Milwaukee and the Raptors game, in which the Raptors will not get swept out of the playoffs this year, as the Raptors had the big comeback in Toronto. So we're gonna touch on that. We got a few other things we're going to talk about. So we will get started with the conversation with Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson did an interview on First Take on ESPN, and he pretty much let it fly. He didn't hold back. So they asked what happened and why he left the Lakers. And as I listened to the interview, I realized that the Lakers are in trouble. And I have been a lifelong Laker fan. I have been a lifelong Magic Johnson fan. And the Lakers feel like right now a sinking ship. They asked Magic Johnson what happened, why did he leave? And he went through and he talked about how when he took the job, he explained to Jeannie that he had a number of businesses that were already very successful, and he made way more money being a businessman and having a life of leisure than he did being a general manager. Jeannie Buss told him that it didn't matter, that she would be fine with him not being there all the time. They appointed Rob Pelinka general manager, which Magic admitted that he didn't really know Rob Pelinka. And he's going about doing things. Everything's great in Lakerland. And he talks about, all of a sudden he starts hearing that there's a lot of backstabbing going on. People around the Laker organization is telling him, hey, Pelinka's talking about you. Pelinka's saying that you're not working hard. There's constantly things going on, as Pelinka's kind of seems like he's jockeying for Magic's job, which Magic already knew he wanted to have his job. Then it turns around, and people that Magic trusts outside of the Lakers organization. First, there's Lakers employees telling him that Rob Pelinka's kind of stabbing him in the back. Then there's Lakers trusted friends of Magic is telling him, hey, Rob Pelinka's saying a lot of bad things about you. Magic talked about the fact that when he first took the job, friends, people and other agents had called him up and said, hey, be careful about Rob Pelinka. Now, Magic did say about Rob Pelinka that he was a hard worker, but it was very obvious after listening to Magic that Rob Pelinka was gunning for his job. Rob Pelinka was undermining Magic. And when Magic took the job, the president of basketball operation, his sole job is to be the end-all final say when it comes to everything dealing with the basketball team. And when Magic took the job, it was understood that he would have total control. And I remember in the press conference when they asked Jeannie said anything dealing with basketball, it's Magic has the final say in it. But when you start hearing Magic's story and he gets there, first you got Rob Pelinka stabbing him in the back. So at the end, he looks around and he decides, listen, Luke Walton, I like him as a person, but I don't like him as my coach. And when you look at Luke Walton is a very talented guy, very talented coach, but he's very new to the coaching field. And he will become, I think he has the ability to become a great coach. But when you're the Lakers and you're looking at, we got LeBron James and we're no longer trying to build and everybody develop. We don't have time to develop your young players and develop a young coach when we just went out and got LeBron James. So at the end of the year, Magic goes to Jeannie to let Jeannie know he wants to get rid of Luke Walton and bring in a more experienced coach. And Magic talks about that he wanted Tyronn Lue. He thought Tyronn Lue would be the perfect guy. A lot of experience, won an NBA championship, great relationship with LeBron James, and knows how to work with LeBron, which absolutely makes sense. And he meets with Jeannie, and the first time she's not on board. Hold off, let's have another conversation about it. She comes back, then she's back on board. Then gets a phone call, we need to meet again. Now there's other people in the room, and they're telling him how he can't get rid of Luke Walton. Now, if you're president of basketball operations, you shouldn't have anybody else in the room. It should be just your decision. It should be a courtesy to let the owner know that you're getting rid of this person. But to find out that not only are you having to answer to Jeannie Buss, but there's a bunch of other people in Jeannie's ear, and you're starting to have to answer to them. You also have your underling, who's supposed to be the general manager who works for you. He's going behind your back. He's reporting to everyone that Magic's not working. He's undermining your authority in the organization. In the end, I felt like Magic felt like he was a tiger, a legendary tiger, without claws and without teeth. And when you have a tiger without any claws and without any teeth, you are no longer dangerous. And because of that, Magic decided he had to go. Now, they talked about kind of what LeBron said, but he was kind of upset that he didn't say kiss my butt or anything. LeBron said something, a little different, but pretty much on the same level. And he touched on that, and he talked about the fact that he loves LeBron. He was very happy with LeBron, and LeBron was pretty much a perfect Laker. He was helping. He was helping with developing the players. He was helping make the players escalate their game. He was helping guys such as Lonzo Ball when the situations went on outside of the organization with the Big Baller brand. Sounds like LeBron has been a pretty solid teammate. And he did confirm there was a lot of talk that the Lakers should trade LeBron, and that there's a lot of people in LeBron and Jeannie Buss air about trading LeBron. And Magic really put that to rest, that sure, people have brought that up, And it is not remotely considered whatsoever that they are not going to trade LeBron, which is a smart move. Now, when you look at this, and I look at this situation, and when you hear things, and it makes me think about like Rob Pelinka stabbing people in the back. I've heard other stories about Rob Pelinka, and that there's a lot of general managers that don't like Rob Pelinka. And I know for a fact there's a number of agents that don't like Rob Pelinka. When you have a situation where teams don't want to work with Rob Pelinka, other agents don't want to work with Rob Pelinka, and you're dealing with the biggest free agent offseason in recent history and one of the most important offseason in Los Angeles Lakers history, is it smart to go into a situation like that and have a guy that not very many people want to work with? That's a concern, because the first thing is when you have people come in to meet Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, you start having these guys come in, and right out the gate, before you even have the meeting, your agent is warning you about this guy. And do you really want to, or you don't trust him? The Lakers are working from a deficit at that point, because if the agent is a frontline guy that looks out for their player most of all, their client. And when I look at my agent, and let's say I want to sit down with my agent, and we're going to meet with another podcast network. And my agent before the meeting told me, listen, the Lakers are a great organization, but don't trust Rob Pelinka. Watch your butt. There's better situations out there. I'm going to be very leery about sticking my neck out and making that leap of faith that I want to be a Laker. That's what Rob Pelinka, it sounds like where Rob Pelinka's at. It kind of reminded me of kind of what was going on in Cleveland when the offensive coordinator was kind of going behind Hugh Jackson's back. It just breeds a bad situation. And the Lakers need to make a decision on how the structure is going to go. Now, the Lakers did announce that they are not going to replace Magic Johnson, that there will not be a president of basketball operations, and that Rob Pelinka is just going to kind of assume a little bit more of the role. Sounds like Jeannie and the rest of the family is going to handle the rest of the basketball operations, and that Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis is going to be a little bit more involved. Now, Magic did talk about the whole fact that about Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis. And Magic was kind of on board with Kurt Rambis because he brought up a great fact that you just don't see in the NBA. And that is, when you look at the Lakers organization, the only former basketball player that's in the front office is Kurt Rambis. Normally, when you look around at the top organization throughout the league, they have basketball players and basketball minds all up and down the organization. People who have played the game. Multiple, not one, but multiple. Right now, when you look at the Lakers, they only have Kurt Rambis and Kurt Rambis' wife, Linda Rambis. That's not good. What happened to the great Lakers organization where there was Jerry West and Pat Riley running things? The Lakers really need to step back, right their ship, And, I think they need to bring some better people in, because you do not want to end up, you have LeBron James for 3 more years. You do not want to make it so that you get absolutely nothing out of this. So with that being said, I wanted to give you my take on the Lakers organization and the crazy situation that's been going on. It was quite fascinating to hear Magic's side of thing. It sounds like his relationship with Jeanie Buss is still intact. He still plans on going to the Lakers games, every game. He just won't be a part of the Lakers organization. And I think Magic made the smart decision, because it seems like the Lakers organization is just very far away. With that, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the playoffs and the outcomes that have been going on. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, we're back, and we were just talking about the interview that Magic Johnson just gave on ESPN earlier today. He talked about all the dysfunction that's been going on with the Lakers, why he left the organization, and just gave his side of the story. And I tell you what, it sounded 100% believable. And even if you look at that and you say, the truth is somewhere in the middle from Magic's side, and let's say what he's saying is 100% wrong. So let's say half of what he said was true. The Lakers are in big trouble. The Lakers are a dumpster fire right now. And that kills me to say that, because I've been a Laker fan for a long, long time. But they have to make changes. And I think the changes have to come with Jeanie Buss. Jeanie has to be able to take her personal feelings out of basketball decisions. For instance, like Luke Walton. Magic wanted to get rid of Luke Walton, but Jeanie really liked Luke Walton, the person. Your personal feelings get in the way of business decisions. Then you start flipping back and forth, like Magic was talking about. First she said she wasn't for it. Then she said okay. Then brought somebody else in, and then she was back for not letting him go. Then Magic leaves, and in the end, the Lakers let Luke Walton go. Now, one of the other things that kind of came up during this, I guess this came up a couple days before, is that there was a number of general managers that were talking, and that a few people were talking about what's their thought on the Lakers and the fact that with free agency and everything that's going on. And even with all the crazy situation, a lot of general managers still think that the Lakers are going to get a big three on the offseason. And it sounds like a lot of the talk is leaning more toward LeBron and Kyrie. And now that they have that fourth pick, that Anthony Davis could be in play. It also came out earlier today or earlier this week that the New Orleans Pelicans kind of backed off of the talk that under no circumstances would they work with the Lakers. Matter of fact, the category denied it. And if the Pelicans are looking to change their future, you cannot take an attitude that there's one team that you're not willing to negotiate with, especially with some of the pieces that the Lakers have. You're talking about the fourth pick. You're talking about Ingram, Ball, Kuzma, Hart. There's a lot of really great pieces there. And in my opinion, there's no other team in the NBA that has more pieces to give up than the Los Angeles Lakers. So if the Lakers get one guy to come, and that's Kyrie, and then you're looking at possibly Anthony Davis or Kawhi Leonard, which Magic was saying he was had not closed the door on the possibility of bringing in Kyrie and Leonard. Bringing in Kawhi Leonard, either way, if you put LeBron, Kyrie, and Kawhi together, that is a championship team right there. So it still looks like there's a possibility, but I think the Lakers will end up getting one of the guys. I think they're going to get Kyrie, and I still think, as I said, they're going to get Anthony Davis. Now, speaking of Kawhi Leonard, over the weekend here, the Raptors actually took the first game at home. So being down 2-0, they came back in Toronto and actually won Game 3. And a lot of people kind of looked at it as kind of a positive thing. Kawhi had 36 points. It took double overtime to win. Giannis fouled out in overtime. But when I look at this game, this thing's over. And this is the reason why. It still took double overtime and Kawhi Leonard playing the absolute most minutes of his entire career in a game to win. When you have to have someone play more minutes, you're at home and playing the most minutes ever. It takes double overtime. When you look at Milwaukee, I feel like when you break this series down and you say Giannis versus Kawhi, I say it's a push. Let's just say it's a push. Then you go shooting, Milwaukee. Overall offense, Milwaukee. Coaching, Milwaukee. Bench, Milwaukee. Defense, Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I feel, is just a much better team. And I just do not see Toronto pulling this out. Especially, and I'll tell you this, Game 4 is a must-win for the Raptors. And I know the whole series, the whole concept is nothing's happened in a playoff series until someone loses at home. Well, first off, Milwaukee just has to win at home and they win the series. But Milwaukee is the better team. And you're looking around at a situation where it took double overtime just to survive this game. They dropped Game 3, and this is a 5-game series, in my opinion. With that, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'm going to touch on the Western Conference Finals. Stay tuned, and we'll be back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right. Now we're back, and we were just talking about the Eastern Conference Finals and how the Raptors have taken Game 3 and is now a 2-1 in a best of 7. I still look like this is still Milwaukee's series to win. I felt like taking 2 overtimes is just not enough. I mean, if you have to do two overtimes to pull this off your first game back, I just feel like Milwaukee just has too much. Now, speaking of having too much, I'm going to talk a little bit about that Golden State Portland game, Game 3. In which the Warriors won 110-99. And this was a devastating loss for Portland, because this is the game that not only they should have won, but they had to win. Now you're looking at a situation where a sweep could be in play, or gentleman's sweep. I feel like the problem that's been going on here, when you start looking at, when you watch the Warriors and then you watch the Trailblazers. The Blazers, this whole series, they come out, they have a big burst of energy. They put out a lot of effort, but they always seem like the fighter, the inexperienced fighter, whether it's MMA or whether it's boxing. They come out fast. They don't coast them. They don't coast. They don't pace themselves properly. And when you start getting in deep water, they tend to drown, just like the Portland Trailblazers. Golden State is starting to drown the Blazers. 16-point lead, 15-point lead, 12-point lead. All those leads keep going away. And the reason why it is when they start getting in deep water, Golden State goes on a run and erases. When you look around, you look at this big lead and it's gone. And then in the fourth quarter, they extend the lead. And then Portland looks shot. Portland looks beaten. As you can look at them and tell. This is a team it's looking around and they're saying, what else can we do? Especially on nights like this weekend, Game 3, when you got Steph and Clay, but Draymond puts up a triple-double and really applies the pressure, driving to the hole, making them work really hard. And then you mix in a situation where Damian Lillard had a horrible game, but I do give him a pass. And the reason why you give him a pass is because he is injured. He has an injured rib. Anyone who has had an injured rib will tell you it is tough. You can't move the way you want to. You definitely can't jump. You can't move your arms the way you want to. And this is definitely affecting him. The one thing that is going on, though, is that Golden State is turning into a mass unit. And what I mean by that is the fact that, first, we had Boogie Cousin going down. Then we have Kevin Durant going down. Now it looks like Andre Iguodala is down. He has a sore Achilles and most likely will not be playing in Game 4, and they don't know how long he's going to be out. You can't have 60% of your starting lineup out. This is the opportunity for Portland to try to get back in this, because when you have 3 main starters gone, it cracks the door a little bit. I still don't think it's going to be enough, because I feel like Portland is mentally shot now. If they do not win Game 2, if they don't come out and put together a really strong showing the first 2 quarters like they've done in the first 3 games, but then have to put together a third quarter and a fourth quarter. We know they can compete for a half. They've proven they can compete for a half. But the game is 4 quarters. And Portland has yet to figure out how to put together 3 quarters, let alone 4. And that's why I do see them winning Game 3, Game 4, but then this is being wrapped up in 5. With that, we're going to close things out. I'm going to head home and take a look at that Warriors-Blazers game tonight to see if my prediction is right, that the Portland Trailblazers actually come alive and actually pull out a game here. No matter what, we will be talking about that tomorrow. So enjoy, everyone, and everyone have a good night.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.